All right, we are live. Right as my dad starts calling me for some reason. How is everybody doing?
Well, I am doing pretty good. Looks like we got a couple of people popping in so far.
Yeah, we got Captain Crunch here. We got Blacksmith already here. Sky Dreams is here. We got 9
Good, good,
people.
good.
You guys are on the ball.
We'll
Thank
go
you
over
guys for being here.
the super important numbers of importantness.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Absolutely. We can give everybody like another couple minutes to get in here. What's
sure
up,
thing.
Custom Games Modes? Yanni's here. Thank you, buddy. So yeah, this how many weeks has it been since we did an AMA now?
Well, we didn't do one last week.
Greek,
And we
what's
did
up?
one before that. So yeah.
Okay, hasn't been that long then.
No, it hasn't. We did one like I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So
Okay.
we didn't do one last week because
Yeah,
I
Blacksmith
had
saying 2
a
weeks ago.
unfortunate circumstance with someone in my family passing. So
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, man. Sorry to hear that.
no, it's all good. I really appreciate it, and the community just kind of letting us have a little bit of time there. And so I just appreciate you guys not not getting upset with me.
Yeah, well, of course, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I'll just jump out here and get it out there really quick because I know we kind of talked about um, the structure for the AMAs going forward. So I think we are eventually going to be swapping over to the first Tuesday of each month. Um, I know we kind of brought that up. I think that's probably going to be the easier process. And my logic behind that is that way we don't have to kind of try and do the like the weekly numbers and stuff like that in terms of like an AMA. People
Yeah.
get a little more time. We can actually just provide them as an announcement. And the charts will still be updated every single week as well too. So nothing crazy to kind of like, we're not shutting it down entirely and we're not going to, just withhold information. It'll just be provided in a different facet. And then effectively what we'll do is we'll kind of circle back around in the first Tuesday of each month and, just kind of do a recap for the month and like how each week kind of did, and then just kind of go from there. That way we can have like one AMA where it's not, it's not a situation like today where we're getting an AMA in, and then you've got like 10 minutes in between the next one, so to speak. So yeah.
So we'll be doing one next week for the first Tuesday.
We will not. I've got my family's going to be in town for the funeral and everything like that, and my wife's family and everything. So I will be gone next week. But we'll do it the week after.
Okay. All right.
And that'll be the start of our first kind of like monthly review AMAs. I think is what we can probably call that or something.
And so that one we'll go over the numbers for the month of March.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we'll still have the numbers out there and everything like that, but it'll be a situation where I'm not going to be here. So the AMA itself, we can either do the week after, or if you feel like going, solo here, you can absolutely do so. I've got 100% faith in you. But
I don't, but I appreciate that.
I figured it might be a situation where we can probably just circle back the week after that, and then perpetually going forward will be the first Tuesday of each month, just to kind of keep it simple for everybody.
Cool.
But yeah, I think we can probably just jump into the numbers here really quick and just kind of go over where we're at so far. So good news. We had a pretty rock solid week considering, that we didn't have nearly as much action as we did the week before. So we still did 2.21% with the compounding on the NFT side of things. and
Awesome.
roughly about 3.72%, including the compounding on the Ray side of things. So a little bit of a bigger turnaround for Ray, but that's more because it's had, again, the time to compound and stuff like that. So if we're just looking at the week without considering compounding, it was 1.83%. So just a little shy of 2% for the week.
Okay.
So yeah, about 0.17% away from 2% on the week. And yeah, still with all
Cool.
things considered, though, not bad at all. That compounding is really where it's starting to take effect. So the example
So are we
again.
still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Are we still on track this month to hit like 10%?
I think we're over that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
if memory serves, I think with everything compounded, I think we hit just shy of 10% last week. I might be wrong, but
Cool.
it should be really, really close. Like I think we're gonna hit like 11, maybe 12% or something on the month. But
Fantastic.
I don't remember exactly what it was. I think last week we hit like 10 or 11% though. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up what you sent me last week so I can give everybody the numbers from last week in case they didn't look at the chart that you guys
Well,
had.
I've got the numbers in terms of like where we started, where we finished. So on the
Okay.
Ray side of things, we started at $27,402. We finished the week at $27,905 for a total profit of 503. For
Oh,
the NFT, we started the week at $106,658. Finished the week at $108,622 for a total profit of 1,964.
nice. All
Yeah.
right.
We'll put out those numbers again as well as soon as we're done with the AMA. We'll do the like the little community announcement. It's got all the numbers and all the details in it.
All right.
But yeah, so
Very
very,
cool.
very
And
exciting. We're currently doing roughly on average about $2,000 a week on the
awesome.
NFT side of things, which again, that's without taking anything compounding wise into consideration here. So
Right. Right.
this week was a little bit lighter, but even if we look at it as doing anywhere from about 1.5% to about 3% per week, it's just absolutely massive returns.
Yeah.
When you consider that compounded for the entire year, it's crazy what it'll be. So,
And how does the compounding factor in? Like, are you guys putting a little bit more in each trade whenever there's a larger total?
correct. Yeah. So the way
Okay.
that process works is, let's say day one we started off with $100,000. And then, in the first week we did 2%. So that's $102,000. So
Mhm.
that's where it starts right there. Now, mind you, I'm using a week as an example, but effectively it compounds after every single trade. So like
Okay.
if a trade does $13 is the profit on a trade. We'll just use that as an example. Um Instead of it being at like $100,000 and it resets back to that, it's now trading the percentage of $100,013. So it adjusts it ever so slightly. Now, mind you,
Okay.
that's not going to be a drastic, adjustment, so to speak.
Right.
But it does it every single trade. Hold on one
That's
second.
awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if that was like something automatic that the bot did. Very cool. What's up, Gunther? What's up, TJ? Nomad, how you doing? Neil, Surfer Mark. Glad to
Hey,
see you guys here.
Oliver, I'll be right back if you want to answer some questions. I got to sign for a package.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't think I have any answers to give, but I'll, you know. Are we still looking at potentially late April, early May for V2 or possibly further out than that? I don't know. I haven't heard of any delays in the group chats. So as far as I know, we're still on for sometime in April launching V2. Uh, Obviously, Moongod will be able to give you guys more details. Um, no exit, no problem. Saying when Bitcoin goes insane, I'm sure that the token ecosystem will go insane too. Yeah, of course, of course. That does trickle down to the alts eventually. The numbers I was asking Moongod about actually were the week before when we didn't do an AMA, and I forgot to post it in our Discord. But last week, not this past week, the week before, the Ray side did 4.8% in profit, and the NFT side did 2.85% in profit. And like Moongod was saying, already for the month we're over 10%. He's thinking we're going to finish up the month at like 12%. So that's awesome. Another good month of profits, and we're just that is going to be. I'm actually writing an article right now to kind of summarize 4Token. I'm doing a Medium article, and just the I'm at the point where I'm talking about the Prisma One NFTs and the money that's going to come in from that. It's going to be so absolutely insane how much it affects our tokens. I think even just the very first payment is going to have a massive effect on our tokens, because we're going to be able to like buy up and potentially burn a ton of the supply of 1 and 3, and I don't know like how much we're going to buy of 2. I mean, we'll swap over to 2. I don't think we'll burn any 2. I don't think there's much point in doing that, but it's going to have a drastic effect just from that first payment. I might buy 4Token. Finally can get on the ground floor for once on a legit project. Thanks, man. Right on. Yeah, the thing is, like 3Token kind of started slowly, but at some point it did an over 10x. So if you had bought at launch, it was 33 cents. At one point, it was at $3.70, and it stayed around $3 for about a month. So it's dropped down to like $1.40 because a lot of people were selling to get into 4Token, which happens every time we put out a new token. But it's temporary. But one thing, yeah, our tokens do tend to go up in value, and 4Token. Since we are talking about 4Token a little bit in this AMA, I might as well go into it while Moongod is away. 4Token is going to have a pretty small supply. Right on. 4Token will be awesome. BNB rewards, yeah. 100% of 4Token's taxes are going to be turned into BNB. Greek is saying save it. I was telling Moongod, I was like, this is my warm up for Greek, so I can get my talking points in place.
By the way.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, guys check out Greek's AMA that I'm going to do with him next. That's when I'll talk a lot more about 4Token, but it's going to be awesome. Moongod, someone had asked a question. Neil, I see your question, but first let's go in order. Someone was asking about V2 right here. TJ.
Oh yeah, V2 is still on track. So we are still looking at mid to late April, early May. So good news in that regard. When words are tough. While we were doing our revision of our code, we actually realized that a good chunk of it could actually be carried over. And it was a situation where we aren't going to have to run into like as much revisions as we thought we were going to have to do. There were some things that we were actually able to just effectively like take out of the system to allow us to be able to just bypass some of the security things that were needing to be updated and, enter in just a few lines of code to be able to basically replace it. And so not as much of an overhaul as we were potentially running into. We are still looking at the, the April to May launch timeframe. More so than anything else, that pretty much is we're just trying to stay consistent for anyone that's listened to any of the AMAs, anyone that's been there for any kind of like date or information drops. We're not trying to do any kind of crazy overhauls or changes in that aspect. We are finalizing a couple of things on our side in terms of the updates, and then we will again, be going through like peer review and things like that. Solid Proof is absolutely willing to, go through and provide us a free audit as well too. So they are doing that. They're the people that we went through and did the first audit with, but we are going to get peer reviewed as well. But it is a case where they've offered to do a free audit of our V2 contract. So, definitely a positive there as well. And we're very appreciative for them doing that. So, yeah, they're not going to be the only people that we're going to have that done with. Again, we've, kind of opened up a couple of lines of communications with a few developers. I've been talking with Cyril as well, too. And, we're going to go through the whole 9 yards, the whole shebang prior to the launch of V2. So
I can tell you from my experience with Cyril, if he looks at your code, he'll find any potential issue and he'll bulletproof that thing for you guys. He did 4token for us, and it's a fork of something else. And I can tell you he found some like serious issues in the code that he fixed for 4token, that the token that we forked has those issues, and like it's going to cause problems for them in the future. I won't name which token it is, but like we won't have that problem with 4token because Cyril fixed it for us. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why, we wanted to open up that line of communication with him. We've got to go through the process with him and, make sure we got everything over to him, and, have him kind of take a look at it with us and do whatever we got to do. But yeah, he's one of the people that we're in communication with. And we have a couple of other developers that, we just know personally, that we're going to have peer reviewed as well. And then I believe one of the things we are also considering doing is like a bug bounty program. Again, as we kind of continue to release additional products and have things come out, we still want to be open and transparent with our code. So it's going to very much so be a case where, we definitely want to have some like bounties and things like that are out there, and allow people to kind of review and look over our code, and anyone who's kind of savvy enough to kind of do that and be able to kind of help us out, especially prior to us relaunching as well. So yeah, it's a couple of different things we're considering on our side, and things we're considering in the long term as well. So absolutely.
Have you guys made any decisions about how you will do the launch?
We still haven't finalized that yet because we're still kind of battling and trying to see if there's a way that we can, set up the system for a couple of different, options here. The biggest course that we're kind of thinking of doing is just, the main one that we've talked about, which is, just airdrop everybody the tokens and just kind of restart. The other option that we have brought up as a consideration as well too, and this one actually has a little bit more traction, and we've gotten a little bit of feedback from some other people as well, in terms of basically just kind of doing almost like a refund to a certain extent. I know it sounds a little crazy to say that with how adamant we've been about just doing the airdrop, but we've talked about, kind of taking advantage of the fact that we're one of very few projects that have actually like managed to recoup their funds. And then one of the things that we were considering doing, especially on the marketing side of things, is saying like, hey, we had this happen with our contract, with our code. We're a team that doesn't give up. We had this backing and support of this absolutely amazing community and other partners. We're going to provide some form of a refund, in the process for that. We're still kind of like debating if that's even possible or doable, and what's the best way to kind of do it. Because there's still a lot of issues math-wise that we're going over here on our side. And then with that being the case, with the refund being presented out there, people would just go in and kind of claim. And then we would just do a fresh pink sale and just basically just do a fresh launch of V2. So that's one of the things we've kind of considered on that side as well, too. And just kind of we're going back and forth between those, because one of the biggest issues that we've kind of faced on our side, more so than anything else, is the math isn't necessarily panning out exactly the way that we'd want. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you Lucky has um, some very strong opinions about how they should launch.
Yeah, it's just one of the things that we've kind of considered on our side, because it does provide a lot of marketing potential in that aspect as well too. Because I can't think of, even 5 projects that when they've had something like this happen, that have actually like fully gone through and been able to recoup everything and then kind of restart their project.
Yeah,
There's so few and far between, where it's
yeah,
like when there's been an exploit or something like that that's happened, they just either like they give up, or they just say, okay, well, you're going to get this smaller percentage of what we originally had. And um it puts us in a very, I'm going to say, exclusive. It puts us in a very exclusive lineup of projects that are able to come back and say like, hey, we recovered everything,
yeah,
we gave it back,
yeah,
and then now we're doing a full restart here. So
yeah.
that's one of the things that we've kind of considered on our side, but we haven't made a decision one way or the other yet. um you know if you guys want to let us know what you think about that, um you can absolutely let us know in Discord or anything like that, or in the comments or anything. We go over all that stuff. It's kind of, those are the two big ones that we've kind of gone back and forth on. It's just like, hey, let's restart this, let's get it out the door. Or it's been hey, let's do this refund. Let's, allow people to claim and get their tokens back, and then let's get out the door. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the two that we've been kind of sitting on, so to speak, and trying to decide which direction to go with it. But yeah, any feedback from community is always helpful. And again, we think both options are extremely viable, because one puts us at the point where we're restarting the project, we're continuing with what we've already done, and everything is good to go. But the other one also gives us, a massive advantage in terms of saying like, hey, we're getting everybody back what they've lost, everything back that's been lost, and we're starting clean. And again, like we talked about, it's something where it would be massive in terms of marketing, where it's like there's very few projects that are out there that can make that claim, that they didn't just dip with the money and left, that
Yeah.
they didn't just I mean, I can't name the amount of projects that have, I mean, because there's too many of them, that have literally just been like, oh yeah, we lost like 90% of the funds. Here's 10% back. You got $4, even though you invested 400.
Yeah.
What's up,
Yeah.
everybody? So yeah, it's something we're considering, and those are kind of our two pathways that we're looking at here. But either way, V2 will be out late April, early May. So just want to
Very
let.
cool. Very cool. And I saw people were asking you guys about whether you would like ever become a DAO, and you know, you were talking to people, and you always give really good long explanations in the Discord. But you know, obviously you guys, the team, the Prisma team, are the ones that know what needs to be done and all that. So, a DAO structure wouldn't work for the technical stuff that you guys do. But you were saying maybe like for the charitable things that you guys plan on doing at some point.
Yeah. So I don't see anything wrong with a DAO structure. It's good when you don't have to do things quickly. It's
Yeah.
bad when you have to make a decision on the fly. The best example that I can give of that is like, you know, I mean, we've seen a massive amount of projects that have literally fallen apart because somebody couldn't make a decision fast enough to be able to react. Wonderland Time was a great instance of that as well too, where it's like they had some, if memory serves, they had some like DAO structure that they had to do in order to be able to, say, hey, we're going to allocate some treasury funds to be able to buy back stuff to get it at a certain point, to get it to, to a whatever price it needs to be at. And it's like they had to fucking wait on it. And excuse the language, I apologize about that. But it's one of those things where it's like, when you leave the decisions up to the masses, even if the masses make the right decision, and it's not always the case that they will, but let's assume that they are going to make the right decision, it's a very long period of time that you have to kind of wait. And oh no, that's not what it was. They had to wait for multi-sig to sign on. And multi-sig is a small version of a DAO. And even with that being the case, it was a situation that had everything in place, everything was right. And I'm not saying multi-sigs are bad. I'm just saying that it's an instance where if you have to make a quick decision, you cannot do it unless there's enough people there to do it. And that's one of the biggest issues with DAOs is like, fundamentally, they're totally fine when you don't have to make a split-second decision. And so
it's like bureaucracy in government. It just bogs things down.
Yes, on a day-to-day basis, it would very much so be a case where, it'd be very hard for us to do what we're looking to do. But in terms of like overarching decisions on certain things, it's absolutely doable. Like you brought up, charity is one of the things that we'd love to have DAO structures for, where we can basically say, hey, every holder in Prisma gets to vote on, what we're providing, charity funds to, or whatever it would be, and it could be like, one of the big ones that me and my family always do is Best Friends Animal Society, which is, they provide funds to no-kill shelters. So
awesome.
And that's for like dogs, cats, stuff like that. So it's, that's kind of like a big one for us over here.
That's cool.
We've got some other ones out there that we do as well too. Both my side and my wife's side of the family are.
I got my Roscoe. at the local
Roscoe.
Yeah.
Both my side and my wife's side of the family are are in the military, so we do a lot of stuff for injured veterans and things like that as well too.
Awesome.
And just kind of a lot of that across the board, where it's like we want to bring that same stuff, on kind of, for lack of better terms, like the global scale. So like if there's a great charity, in Sweden, or if there's a great charity in France, or one in Africa, or something like that, where we can give to them and we know that it's actually going to go to the right thing and go to the right place, we absolutely want to do that. And that's something where we can absolutely have a DAO for it, where we can say, hey, these are these are all of our suggestions from the community. These are the ones that we've looked into that we know 100%, the money's going to the right places, because I know there's some charities that are out there that it's like, yeah, for every $1 that's given, it's like 3 cents actually goes to the, to the right place. The other 97 cents effectively goes to, administration fees or whatever nonsense they have there. So, yeah, and then we can provide all of those as kind of like an option for people to choose from. And that's one of the big things that we wanted to make sure it's built in there. So we have a charity wallet built in, which straight out the gate is going to have 2% of all the funds, 2% of the Prisma token total. So it's got 200,000 tokens in it. And that is untouchable. So those Prisma tokens are effectively locked in that contract. And whenever we go to do anything else, it'll allow us to basically fire off the contract and say, hey, we want these funds to go to this very specific multi-sig wallet. And that is the only function that contract can have. Like it doesn't have any other function. And then from there, we can then use that multi-sig to pay out to whatever charities the community decides on. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very cool. I'm looking at the comments. Neil asked, does the Ray bot and the NFT bot do the same trades? If so, is the percent difference due to the money difference in the two pots?
The percent difference is due to compounding. So because Ray has actually been going on longer, its compound is actually slightly higher. because that is taking the total amount against what it has done percentage-wise so far. That's pretty much the only reason why. They do the exact same trades. The percentages are in effect exactly the same when you're looking at the isolated week, but when you're looking at the compounded amount, how much it effectively is different. So just to kind of go back to those numbers super, super quick for you. When we're looking at the Ray side of things, give me 1 second. I lost the numbers. When we're looking at the Ray side of things, without taking into consideration compounding, it was 1.83%. With compounding being considered, it was 3.72%. And that's on the Ray side of things. On the NFT side, it was 1.83% when we're not counting for compounding, and 2.21% when we were counting for compounding. And that's just because one side has been compounding longer than the other. And that's it. But they both did 1.83% for the week.
Huh.
Yeah.
And how does the compounding like practically double the Ray side?
Yeah. So basically, because of how much was made, it has effectively like a higher increased amount. Like that just takes the starting amount from start to finish versus how much it effectively was from like the actual initial point.
Okay. My
Yep.
brain is for some reason isn't computing that, but it'll come to me eventually.
Yeah, I'll have Callie do a post on it and hit me up with it. My math is done for the day as well too. Basically turned off brain wise. In effect, the best way to kind of consider it though is that because we're compounding after every single trade, it's slightly higher because it's had a longer period of compounding. That's basically the best way to consider it.
Okay, cool. Captain Crunch is asking, would we be whitelisted or something so that we can for sure buy at least what we currently hold?
You would absolutely be whitelisted, and it would be a period of time where this isn't going to be like a 24-hour pink sale if we go that route. It would be a situation where at least I believe we're looking at doing 2 weeks at a minimum, maybe 3. So this would be, whitelist holders would be everyone that got into V1, which means every wallet that had V1 tokens at that point in time. They'd automatically be in the whitelist, and it would be a situation where you guys would absolutely have like the first quote unquote week to get in. And then it's just open to everybody after that. That's kind of the process we were considering there, where in effect, V1 holders would have a total of like at least 2 or 3 weeks to get in, with the first week being like fully allocated to anyone that was a V1 holder, guaranteed kind of thing.
I think just our community will buy out the pink sale.
Well, it's open-ended, so it would just go up perpetually. So like if we rate like unlike the 4 token, which has a very very slim hard cap of 100 BNB, so get in quickly, hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge. Ours is basically open-ended. So if
how does that work? Is that going to affect the launch price if it's open-ended?
No, it shouldn't in any way, shape, or form.
Because you guys only have a limited supply of 10 million still, right?
Right. So the way it would work, more so than anything else, would be if we're doing that route where we're doing the full refund and allowing people to come back in and kind of claim that and go from there, it would be a situation where we'd start whatever the price would be at. So if that's, if that's a penny, we'd start at a penny. So again, this is why we're saying that like even getting in on the pink sale would be, the best course of action to do there, not just wait to see what happens. But if we were to start at, say, where the exploit started at, where it was like 0.0045, it would be a situation where that's where, the price would start at. But it would be a case where, if we raised $60,000, we'll say, it just basically would have a doubled starting price. So we'd start at roughly, I believe, like a penny versus starting at 0.005 or like a half penny.
But
So, yep.
But everybody in the pink sale would still get that same price of 0.004 whatever.
They get the price of whatever it is in the pink sale. So like if we did like say a $60,000 raise, whatever their percentage of the allocation would be like open to everyone. So it's this is predicated on the first thing being, hey, we're doing a refund. So everyone is getting their money back. They just have to come and claim it.
I
That's
think
it.
that, yeah, TJ
And then,
is saying he was saying I'd feel pretty shit if we got a refund and then end up paying 5x more for the same bag we risked and got exploited on in the first place. So I think he's leaning more towards no refund. He just keeps his tokens, and then he can buy more if you guys if there's more available in the pink sale.
yeah, so the what I'm basically saying in this instance, and this is the reason why we're asking the community at this point in time to give us feedback, is option one is we launch with what we have, and the project just proceeds forward. We'll have the starting token price of the 0.0045, which is roughly what it was. That's what we're rounding it to, and everybody is effectively just airdrop their tokens, and we just launch as is. Option two is we do the refund. People come in and claim their refund, and then we do a pink sale after the refund is completed. And it would be a situation where if we go that route, the pink sale it falls where it may. So if we do the same exact raise that we did the first go round, everybody effectively, if you put in, $1,000 in the first go and you put in $1,000 in the second go, and we raise the same amount, like roughly $30,000, I believe it was. I think it was like $29,682 is what we raised or something like that. Let's just round it up to 30,000. You would get 1/30th of the tokens. Now if we raised $60,000, you would get 1/60th of the tokens because you put 1,000 in and we raised 60,000. That's the way it would work in that instance if we went that second route. And that's just hey, we're doing the refund. We're saying we're giving this back to everybody, and then we're doing basically a brand new V2 pink sale at that point in time. And those are kind of the two options that we're considering, and that's why we're like, hey guys, give us some feedback. Let me know what you think on this. We'll put out an announcement for it. But
I can tell you our number one Prisma One holder says no refund. So I know Lucky is a fan of no refund as well, but not to influence anybody. Just saying, just throwing that out there. TJ saying, I'll definitely drop some feedback in Discord. I've been in 7 or 8 pre-sale community launches this year. I'd definitely like to drop some info because I really want this launch to succeed. Right.
Absolutely.
On, man.
And again, the goal with this is we're not trying to give the middle finger to any specific holder. I want to make that clear. Like, this isn't something where we're just trying to say, like, we've got 10 million in tokens. We're now saying we have 20 million tokens, and V1 holders are all going to be diluted into nothing. That is absolutely not the case here. We want this to be a situation where we absolutely are giving, our best effort in making sure that, one, we aren't, stepping on the toes of any of our holders or any of the community or anything like that. But then two, we're giving the options that we're kind of considering on our side and the thought process behind what we're doing there, at least in the sense of like, hey, here's how this process would work. What is your guys' opinion on this? And that's absolutely kind of what we're doing here. And the team has been going back and forth on this a little bit, and just kind of, we didn't really have a consensus. So it was a situation where we wanted to ask you guys what you thought, provide it in the AMA here. We're not going to, this isn't going to be like a, hey, we've got to decide this by tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah.
Still looking at the same launch time frame and doing a process where we airdrop the tokens to everybody. That takes all of 5 minutes to set up and do. Like, That's not a special, oh, we're going to have to take another 6 months to do this kind of thing. It's a whole, no, we'll just, we literally just write up a contract really quick, load up the CSV that we have of all the wallet holders for V1, get everything in there for all of the, the addresses for everybody. And then we just put the tokens in there and we just specify how it's supposed to be broken down. Super easy. Like not a hard or difficult process at all. And so it's a case for us where we just are like saying, hey guys, these are the two thoughts that we had. Like, let us know what you think. And yeah, so we're not like, hey, it's got to be one way or the other. It's got to be our way or the highway. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood, the two different variations. I'm not saying like one is better than the other or one process has to be done. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what those processes were. So,
yeah, and you'll never make everyone happy, but as long as you can get even the people that disagreed with how it was done, just try and give them the vision, and eventually they'll get on board.
Yeah, and like I said, if we go the route of the pink sale, V1 holders are going to have first shot at it. They'll all be whitelisted, everything across the board. And then it would be a case as well, too, where, we'd still then have like an additional 2 weeks after that, so it would be a case where that would absolutely be something where there's going to be plenty of time. None of this is going to be rushed. None of this is going to happen tomorrow. This is something that, again, even if we launch early May, that's still over a month out at this point in time. So it's like, no need to stress or panic. We're just throwing it out there and saying, hey guys, we've been going through debating this, need some feedback. So,
man, we got the legendary Fritz. I don't know if he still has the name legendary in his name. Actually, he goes by Digital Learning now. But digital, he's got uppercase letters in there. Digital. Anyways, that's Fritz in there. Yep. How you doing, buddy? So TJ is saying if it's an open pre-sale, you'll have no demand on launch because everyone will already be in at the same level. I mean, I think there still will be demand, but it's also, this is a project where you don't really need too much daily volume. It's going to have a lot of passive revenue.
It's not even necessarily like a daily volume kind of thing. The more prevalent fact here is that we're fine if we have, no real volume on, on the launch in any way, shape, or form. I know it sounds insane to kind of say that, but it's one of those things where it's like a lot of other projects are predicated on, needs to fill a very small pool, and then it needs to have a parabolic growth on day one, and then once that, or not even day one, like first hour. And then once that first hour passes, it's a downhill slide to where the project should have been at. And that's one of the things on our side where we'd much rather just have everybody, if we did go the route of option 2 with the pink sale, we'd much rather just have everybody get into the pink sale, have the starting price be whatever the starting price is. And then as people sell out, that gives people a better price to be able to buy in at. Because that's not gonna hurt Ray in any way, shape, or form, because you have to remember they're separate. They're not the same thing. So even if we were to run into a situation where we did the same amount that we did before, and we relaunched with the same values, it would absolutely be a case where we just do the same thing that we did here, and nothing really kind of changes. The only thing that would change is that we basically stopped the bot for a month. That would be it. Like Ray stopped farming for a month, and we kind of moved on from there. If it ends up being a case where say we get 60,000 in, and there's really just kind of sell pressure at the beginning there, that's fine as well too, because the Prisma payouts only account for tokens held in wallets or in vaults, and it does not account for any of the LP. It doesn't account for anything like that in any way, shape, or form. It holds all of that as kind of like, these are counted as like null tokens. So in effect, even if somebody comes in and buys say $50,000 in our pre-sale on Pink Sale, and then just sells the entire thing. Okay, well, they've just sold out of the project. We still had half of that go into Ray, and it's a situation where that $25,000 allows us to, continue to farm and do everything else that we'd want to do, and none of those tokens that are held in the liquidity pool are accounted for in terms of payouts. So everybody still gets their payouts without any kind of issues, since it's percentage based anyways. So yeah, it'd be totally fine if people decided they wanted to sell like minute one. That's not a big deal at all. No
Yep.
problem. I know it's weird to kind of say that. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but it's very much so an instance where, in the case where a lot of projects want heavy volume early on, in order to have things be positive, the Prisma token doesn't need that. It is specifically designed in the way that it does not need that type of volume. It is there to be able to provide long-term returns, in a percentage-based setup and system, that even if the last people holding this are one team, the Prisma team, and you, TJ, are the last holder that we have, if you have 30% of the tokens, you're getting 30% of the payout, bud. So there's nothing to worry about there at all. I mean, it will go on forever, or at least until I die in like the next 60 or 70 years here. So
that's actually the same way that our ecosystem is built. Is me, Lucky, and Yanni could literally be the last investors, and it'll still go on and still pump the price like crazy when the Prisma One NFT money comes in. So yeah.
I mean, these systems, and this is part of the reason why we partnered with One Team, is it is 100% set up and designed that nobody is going to be the bag holder. Like, there's no bag holder. Like, yes, the price may go down because people are selling. That's totally fine. They're allowed to sell, and they're allowed to come and go as they please. That's totally a-okay. But here's the thing: Ray is going to continue to compound. The NFTs are going to continue to do their thing. It's going to continue to grow and pay out to both, the Prisma token, the Prisma treasury, the One Team treasury, and the one token with the vaults and everything like that across the board. It is always going to grow forever until the end of time. So it's part of why our partnership is as beautiful as it is. It's so harmonious that there's literally nothing else that's out there like it. I mean, I've seen projects, like at each other's throats, but there's nothing in our setup that is inclined to have anyone be the bag holder. Ray is completely separate. It's 100% isolated to ensure that nothing goes wrong, to ensure that even if everyone sells and there's no one left but one person, you still get paid. And I'll just say this: you're going to get paid a lot. That's the way it'll work as well. So if you're the last person holding and you hold 100% of all of the funds in the wallet, with the exception of the charity wallet that holds 200,000 tokens, you're going to get paid an obscene amount of money. That's the way it'll work. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I was going to ask, I see Sky Dreams wrote, would love to also see a doc on what we are farming and all the other means the protocol would be making money. And if I could just throw in a suggestion, make it super simple and concise, just like you did the Prisma One NFT white paper, which was one page. That was beautiful. Like the simpler the white paper, the better, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, I'll try and do that. We're not doing anything crazy, and I don't want to give too much away in terms of like what we're farming, because again, that's kind of like our secret sauce, so to speak, and what makes the Prisma token great. But yeah, it's a mixture of liquidity farming with concentrated liquidity. We're even working on some stuff associated to I'm having a moment here. Some lending, dollar cost average, and like single token staking as well. So
And
with the lending side of things, we're actually, in a pretty decent place where we're not doing any kind of borrowing. It is strictly just a lending side of things. So the returns on that aren't insane, but it allows us to earn a little bit more. We're also looking at, like, say, the single-sided staking on, like, even just Pancake Swap. I've brought this up before. USDT on Pancake Swap, I think it's doing like 1.4% a month, which is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, as long as they're going to have stuff like that going, we're going to do that. We're also doing some dollar cost average and single staking of, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB,
you
Cake,
know, it,
One.
yeah, without giving away like the secret sauce. I mean, you
Mhm.
guys do have a white paper, but I remember it's like several pages.
Oh yeah. So as for the farming side of it, I'll consolidate that down to one page where it's, it'll be like a how are we farming? But it is in the
Yeah.
white paper there. It is a bit outdated, is what I'll
and
say.
and and also like tell people like what the percentages will be, like what percentage will be reinvested, what percentage will go to
Yeah.
token holders, stuff like that. That just consolidate as much as possible because people
Yeah,
don't want to
so
lose
all of
all
that will
this
be
stuff.
updated when we finalize the contract changes and everything like that as well too, because we are adjusting some of the payout structures. And one of the things that we've kind of considered is we had some backing going to the uh some of the well, backing's not the right word. Some of the rewards and the payouts would have gone to the liquidity pool. But that's something we want to kind of wait and see what happens more so than anything else.
You could just have a percent of your tax go to the liquidity. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
like
didn't
a
want to
very
do that
small percent.
because if we're buying back on the liquidity, it actually would be much better to have it just go directly to Ray. Like, because we can buy back as we see fit from our treasury,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
it's
True.
kind of pointless for us to just say, hey, we're going to allocate, because we have 4% on the buy side and 4% on the sell side that we get to work with. So it's just
Mhm.
much more beneficial to have a much higher amount just go to Ray. And then if
Yeah,
Ray returns, I don't know, something where it's like our treasury gets like $1,000, we could just do $1,000 buyback, or we could just use that for marketing or whatever else we want to kind of do.
people love
Um,
Ray.
and that's just a much better position for us to be in than just like fully allocate like some X percentage goes to the liquidity pool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so the current amount that we're looking at doing right now, and one of the things that we've been throwing around is 40% is going to go to Ray, 40% will go to payouts, 10% will go to the treasury, and 10% will go to the team as kind of like our quote unquote fee. And that basically is kind of like the management side of things, or however you want to kind of look at that.
And
Um,
what would go into all the other types of things you're doing, liquidity farming and all that?
No,
Would that be
so
the
that's broken down into a slightly different structure where bot
would that be
farming.
would that come from the 10% going to the treasury?
No, that would go from the 40% going to Ray.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two different sides of it percentage wise. So there's the breakdown of how Ray is allocated. So I believe, if memory serves, we have 40% that'll probably be in the bot, 30% in the LP. Then we have, I believe, um, like either 10 or 15% going to single staking, and then the other two percentages is lending, and like stablecoin farming, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of the breakdown there. I think it's 30, 40, like 10, 10, 10, or something like that is the way that it's kind of broken down allocation wise. And then when we're talking about the payouts, different thing altogether. That's 40% will reinvest back in Ray. So if we got $10,000, 40% of that would go back into Ray, to compound and continue to have Ray grow, even if there's no people buying. 40% would go to holders in the form of the USDC payout or whatever token they have, if they're staked in the vaults. Um, and then 10% to the treasury that we can do whatever we want with. We could even just put that right back into Ray. And then 10% would go to the team as kind of like the payout for us in terms of like management fee. And that's kind of the two different breakdowns that we have there. So we don't have anything specifically at this time that we set up for liquidity, but the amount going into the treasury would be, what we could use towards liquidity backing if we needed to. We don't think we will, but we can adjust that on the fly. Same thing with our taxes. We can adjust that on the fly. It'll never be more than 4%, but we can change things as we see fit. Sorry, it'll never be more than 4% on the buy and the sell side, but we can change them as we see fit. So it'll be 4% buy, 4% sell.
All right. So Surfer Mark is just going bot crazy. He wants you guys to have 5 bots, 1 for Bitcoin, 1 for ETH, 1 for BNB, 1 for Solana, and 1 for AVAX. And he's bullish for a change. So
yeah,
it would only take you guys about I don't know how many months of back testing for each one of those, but
4 to 6 months at least at a minimum, then another 4 to 6 months of testing. So,
just get on it.
The next one, if we were going to release an NFT bot, the next one we'd release would be Bitcoin. Probably. It would be one that trades on Bitcoin. And then I would say after that, probably either Solana or BNB would be my bet. Because those don't generally have as high of a volatility as most other things. Like XRP would be one where I'd love to do it, but the problem that you have is there's certain instances where it's XRP does some absolutely bonkers stuff. Even with the whole situation with CZ and BNB and everything like that was happening with, the SEC, I mean, it still only took a 12% dip or whatever it was. Whereas XRP, when the SEC finally relented and were XRP can go back to doing XRP things, it was a 70% increase in seconds. And that would have waxed any bot that was out there. So many people got liquidated on that. It wasn't even funny. Millions of dollars in liquidations, instantly.
Yep.
Our bot would have been gone with that as well too. Just for the record. I'm not trying to say ours is some mythical being that is infallible. No. If we would have been doing that with XRP, we would have been in a short, for whatever reason, we would have nuked instantaneously. It would have just been gone, Yeah.
But even with no leverage.
Oh yeah. The whole thing would have been gone instantly.
Wow.
Wow. That is how quickly that shot up. It was literally a 70% increase in seconds. It was 2 seconds, faster than human capacity.
Yeah,
if you didn't have it open and you weren't immediately hitting the close now button, just before the news came out, it was a 70% increase in 2 or 3 seconds. And so many people got liquidated. It was insane.
Yeah. Goodness. All right.
We're tokens though, and that's not.
Yeah.
That's why we're not bot trading those specific tokens. Is volatility like that is absolutely lethal, and that's why we're in ETH and Bitcoin. That's why we'd consider BNB or Solana as number 3 and 4. Maybe AVAX or something like that. Possibly.
I don't know about Solana though, because FTX has $4 billion worth of Solana to dump.
Do they still have that? I thought they've been liquidating that slowly.
I think they haven't sold any of it yet.
Okay.
Last Cyril checked, it was over $4 billion worth that they have. So
still, even with that being the case, it would be a situation where for us, that would it takes about 6 to 8 months of back testing and then live testing before we'd launch anything.
So they'd probably be over that already. Yeah.
So even if we were to launch right and plan to launch right now, the next one that we would do would be Bitcoin. 100%. That would be what it is.
Yeah.
And that would take, because we originally started the bot as a Bitcoin bot, and then we moved to Ethereum.
Hmm.
So we may not have to revamp nearly as much, but we'd still need to do like 4 to 6 months, I would say, of like back testing, probably
Cool.
closer to the 4 side there, and then probably at least another 4 months of live testing to make sure we don't have anything go sideways. So like if we were to say, hey, we're going to do a Bitcoin bot, the earliest it would launch would be like the end of this year. But I'm not saying we're doing that. I'm just, I'm just saying if we
Yeah.
were to do that, that would be about the time frame. I'm not saying that though.
I'm not either. So Barry is saying 4-token bot.
Sure. Absolutely.
Speaking of 4-token, thank you for that transition, Barry. Will there be a 4-token vault?
If you guys want one, sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we do. Yes, we do.
I'm not against it.
Awesome. All right, so let's wrap this up. Sky Dreams is asking, Moongod, if you had a pre-sale now for an NFT, watch it sell out in 2 seconds. LOL. Bitcoin bot gone in seconds. It would probably go quick. Yeah.
Well,
but
if we were to do anything, as always, community gets first dibs here, so you guys would know about it before anybody else. So, I mean, there's always that. Like, make sure you're just active in the community and paying attention to what's going on. But yeah, so I think we could. We've been going for like an hour here. This is way longer than it was supposed to. I apologize. We got distracted.
It's all good.
Other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at me. We'll do a recap, and maybe it's good that we were just kind of talking nonstop here. That way, everybody can pop over with Greek and your AMA about 4-token, and we haven't really talked too much about it. So we're not.
No, because I'm saving it all for Greek. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll just review everything really quick. For the week, we did a total of 1.83%. So just a little bit shy of that 2% mark, but still very much so within the range of what we're looking for and what we're happy with. Very much so a case where even if we were to return 2% every single month, that would be, or 2% every single week, that would be well within what we're looking to do here. Our goal, again, as a reminder, is roughly about 2 to 3% every single week. Roughly anywhere from about 1.5% to 3%. We're very, very happy with. 2% is right around that mid range for us there. And yeah, so very, very exciting to have that happen. We're very happy. This week was a little bit less volatile for us. So we had I think it was about 10 trades less than what we did last week. Last week, I think we did like 34 trades. This week we did 26. So, yeah, not nearly as much volume for us to take advantage of, but that's okay. It happens like that.
Yeah.
On top of that as well, we definitely are looking to launch V2 late April, early May is still the goal here. We've got the 2 different variations that we're looking for a relaunch. Option 1, we just relaunch with what we've got. Option 2, we were looking at a refund and redo on pink sale kind of thing. Please, again, listen to that whole conversation in the middle there that we talked about all of that. And shoot me a message in Discord, and I'll absolutely go through and answer any questions. We're looking for feedback on it, something that we're kind of going back and forth on our side. Yeah, I'm not going to confirm or deny a Bitcoin bot in the future. It will happen at some point, just no time frame. So, yes. The more you know. It will not be anytime soon. Like I said, earliest time frame for that would be like the end of this year, probably next year. That'll probably be one of our next products, I would say, down the pipeline.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then there's 4-token, which is the GOAT token, which is going to be coming out as well. Pink Sale is already live for that also. I don't know if we can drop links in here or how that works, but it's amazing.
I've got in the description is the Whitepaper link.
Nice.
I didn't think to put the Pink Sale link. I don't know. you know,
Yeah, I
you
mean, you
can.
should totally put the pink sale link in there. It's
Okay.
helpful. It's one of those things where it's selling out quickly. I think you guys are like up to 40 B&B or something at this point in time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
A
It's
little
like up
over
there.
40. Yeah.
Yeah,
We hit our
yeah,
soft cap of 25 B&B in about 3 hours, I think.
yeah. It was crazy
Um,
how fast you guys did that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
absolutely amazing.
So hard cap is 100 BNB. Pink sale is tax free, so you get to avoid the 14% tax if you get it on pink sale. And
Yep, yep.
once we either will launch on April 12th or once we hit 100 BNB. Lucky was telling me it's automatic or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know all the technicalities of it, but
Yeah, so it's probably set to auto launch
yeah, I think that's
either
what he
when it
said.
closes, and that could be when it closes because the time limit is reached, or it closes because it hit the hard cap. So
Hmm. So
yeah,
people now are asking questions about the Bitcoin NFT that doesn't exist.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, no, I don't know. That'll be something we'll have to figure that out at a later point in time. But yeah, it'll be sometime down the
it'll be
road,
later,
not anytime soon. Yeah,
sometime.
like way later, like next year later
Yeah.
would
Yep.
probably be the earliest we do that. And we have other
Yeah.
stuff we want to do as well. So that is like back of
Yeah.
the it's in the pipeline, but not anywhere close to the front of it. You know, just for those that are like, oh, let me get a Bitcoin one. No, that will be like maybe at the earliest next year. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
core token is definitely the way to go in the interim though.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, let's not tell Blacksmith Forge. All right. Yeah. Right. He's Blacksmith is the number one Prisma One holder.
Yeah, the Prisma One
Oh,
NFT holder. Absolutely. That man will be like,
all
listen, just stop what you're doing and do this right now for me. He'd be like, give me those NFTs.
right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We had a pretty good crowd this whole time. Thank you for all the comments, Barry. Thank you, Barry, for giving us the name, the goat name for 4 token. And yeah, the Moon God, thank you as always for being here and spending an hour with us and giving us all this information. We appreciate you.
Oh,
And
one
yeah,
last thing, as a reminder to everybody and those that showed up late, we will not be doing an AMA next week, and we are transitioning to doing an AMA the first Tuesday of each month after April's. So we will do April's the second Tuesday because I have a funeral to attend. And it would be a situation where we will be doing the AMA once a month on the first Tuesday of each month going forward, starting in May. The next
yep,
AMA will be the second Tuesday of April, just as a heads up. So, a little bit of a
awesome.
change there. Nothing too crazy, unless Oliver wants to do it by himself. I believe in you. You can do it. Best of luck, sir. We'll still be doing the weekly updates via announcements, though. So you guys will still get the numbers and stuff like that. We're not hiding that in any way, shape, or form. Charts will still be updated. So yeah, absolutely, still going to provide information to everybody regarding that.
Never, Barry. Never. It's just.
I mean, he spelled boudoir wrong, but sure.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
That's what's going to be the pictures for the Bitcoin NFTs is Oliver Boudoir
oh
pictures.
gosh. Yeah. Oh boy. All right, guys. I ban people for that kind of snow. All right.
All right. Good luck in your next AMA with Greek. Catch you later, Oliver.
Appreciate it. All right. See you guys in 36 minutes.